This is Rick Rule for Rule Investment Media and the Rule Classroom, sponsors of the 2025 Rule Natural Resources Investment Symposium, July 7 through 11 in Boca Raton, Florida, or via live stream from the comfort and convenience of your own home and office. A few things you need to know about the conference. The first is it's been going on for 30 years. We get a little bit better every year, which means it's pretty good. The second thing is that we're going to give you more than 50 hours of programming over 4 days, more than you can possibly absorb. The consequence of that is that we're going to make the conference recordings available to you for a year after the conference, whether you attend live or via live stream. And you're going to need to play back the recordings because we're going to give you a lot more information than you can possibly absorb. Another consequence of that is that we interview every conference exhibitor and every conference speaker before the conference so that you have the ability to allocate your time and your financial resources more efficiently during the 4 days at the conference. We urge you to play the pre-conference interviews and learn about the products and services and the speakers of our exhibitors before the conference, hopefully reaching out to them before the conference so that when you're at the conference, you can ask intelligent questions and allocate your capital efficiently. The consequence of all this is I'm able to make my attendees an absolutely incredible offer. If you attend our conference, either live or via live stream, and for any reason you don't think that we've delivered you a good conference experience, we will refund your tuition. There is no other conference in the world that I know of that has an absolute solid gold money back guarantee. We're able to do that because every exhibitor is vetted. Every public company exhibitor is owned in accounts owned or managed by me. Every service provider, like the upcoming interview, is a service provider that has managed to escape any customer complaints to me about their services in my 35 years putting on conferences and running a very large retail brokerage. Commercial over, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to begin the interview process. Today, I have the great good fortune of interviewing Rich Checkan, a man who I've known for a very long time. In fact, I've known him for so long that I knew his uncle before Rich succeeded his uncle as CEO of Asset Strategies International. Rich, thank you for decades of work on behalf of hard money investors, but thank you today for your ongoing support and sponsorship of the Natural Resources Investment Symposium.
Rick, thank you for having us. We wouldn't miss it for the world. And the best way to escape those complaints is not to generate any in the first place.
Well, thank you for that. I've had to resolve some complaints in the past, and I'm delighted never to have had to resolve them with you. Tell me something about Rich Checkan. Tell me how you came to be the CEO of Asset Strategies International. And frankly, tell our listeners about the expertise you've gathered so that they can care about the answers to the nosy questions I ask you.
All right. Well, appreciate that. I probably followed the normal progression for anybody who's going to become a precious metals dealer. I started off as a pre-med major at West Point in New York, the military academy. I went there for 4 years. I got my second lieutenant commission as a second lieutenant of infantry by choice. I chose to go into the service and lead men and women in the Army for about 6.5 years before I broke off and started my private career. And at that point, I did some direct marketing in Atlanta, Macon area in Georgia. And then I got a nod from my uncle, Michael, who started this business, who you know very well, back in 1982. And I happily accepted, and they happily accepted me. And for the past 30 years, I've been working with precious metals. And Asset Strategy is a unique company in that couple things. We're not unique in what we do. We broker precious metals. We buy and sell gold, silver, platinum, palladium, coins, bars, and rare coins, early U.S. gold, world and ancients. But primarily bullion is our trade. That much is pretty common. What makes us different is how we do it. The first question you're going to get asked if you come to us is, why are you trying to buy gold or why are you trying to sell gold? We're trying to figure out what your goals and objectives are so we can impart our experience and our expertise in this industry to help you do that the most cost-effective and efficient way. The second way we're different is we put customer service first, not just with words, but with actions. We don't pay our sales force a commission. I don't want them chasing a carrot to offer you a high premium item so they can put their kids through college at Stanford. What I want them to do is I want them to hear you out and help you most cost effectively solve your needs. So that makes us very different. We're focused on the client. And if my staff takes care of you, then I would be an idiot not to take care of them. And I'm not an idiot.
Tell me something about where you see the asset classes that are defined as hard assets. Physical gold, silver, platinum, and palladium, bullion coins, rare coins. Where do you see them fitting in portfolios? How do you segregate for people when they come in?
No, it's a great question. And a lot of that has to do with the client, right? And their goals and objectives. In general, I think it's typically a small allocation. And I think you've quoted some numbers in the past, past 50 years, I think the portfolio allocation has been about 2%. I believe in a 10% allocation to gold for wealth insurance. But even at 2%, we're like a quarter of that right now with a 0.5% integration into portfolios. So we've got a lot of room to the upside, and it's starting with central banks, and it will bleed into investors as we go forward. But primarily, I love gold and silver for that wealth insurance role. Gold primarily and silver secondarily for divisibility. Platinum, palladium, more industrial metals, and that's more of a profit play when industry cooperates. Right now, I think the full focus should be on monetary metals, and that's gold and silver, given our current situation.
And primarily, are you suggesting, as an example, sovereign bullion coins? What sort of product are you suggesting is most appropriate for most new people?
Well, my definition of wealth insurance is the store of purchasing power with high liquidity for potential financial crisis you hope you never have, right? And in order to meet that need, you need to be very liquid, meaning people need to want what you have in your time of need. To that end, honestly, I like both sovereign gold coins and gold bars from private mints and from sovereign mints. In 30 years, I've heard the argument that sovereign coins are much more liquid than bars. I've never had a problem buying or selling a bar. That seems pretty liquid to me. So I think it really comes down to preference. I like all of those options as long as they're London Bullion Market Association approved, LBMA standards. It's fine with me.
Rich, I cut my teeth in the precious metals business in the decade of the 70s when they suddenly became very popular items.
Yeah.
One of the things that happened when they became popular items is that scamsters came into the business literally by the hundreds. And my suspicion is that with gold at least nominal all-time highs and silver beginning to move, that those maggots are going to crawl out from under the rocks again and infect our business. Tell me something about the stratagems that new investors can employ to protect themselves from bad people. The idea that you don't trust your government, so you buy gold and silver from a scamster, is probably self-defeating.
They're both scamsters in different ways, if you ask me. But the bottom line is you're absolutely correct. As soon as there's a profit motive, greed jumps in, and bad eggs enter or bad actors enter the arena. World Gold Council did a study, and they looked at how many people believe they ought to own gold in their portfolio. And you'd be surprised, the numbers off the charts. It's not happening in terms of actual consumption, but everybody virtually believes that they ought to have gold in their portfolio. And then they asked how many people actually did. And they found out the number was very small. And they asked why. And there are two reasons that came up. One, they didn't know how to get started. And honestly, just call us. It's not that hard. Come see us at the conference, even better yet. But number two, they didn't trust bullion dealers. And unfortunately, we've got to own that. That reputation is earned as an industry, not by our firm, not by the other firms that you have at your conference, but I got to tell you, it is earned. There, I can go a laundry list of different ways that the scammers will go out and attack you. But a couple things I suggest just to protect yourself until we get to the conference and talk a little deeper. Number one, if a company does not buy back, okay, so before you buy, ask them, when I'm ready to sell, will you buy it back? If the answer is no, don't ever do business with them. I'm telling you, the only reason they won't buy it back is because they charge you too much in the first place. I'm not a big fan of modern issue collectibles. I'm not a big fan of coins when you're looking to buy that you can't shop elsewhere, right? So if only one firm carries this and nobody else does, look for a different product. Right. And ultimately, the best way to protect yourself is to work with trusted vendors, people that have been there for years, that either you know and have worked with, or your friends and family know and have worked with, or people you trust, like, I don't know, Rick Rule, know and have worked with. If you stick to those guidelines, you work with trusted people that sell product sourced from distributors and from mints directly, you're going to be in good shape. You don't have to worry about, bad gold bars with tungsten filling and things of this nature.
Well, I've had a lot of questions from people in the rural investment media universe about those bar products. If you buy them back, how do you know that somebody isn't selling you a bad bar and you inadvertently sell it on? Tell me something about the procedures involved in authenticating bullion products.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, because obviously when we're buying it directly from the mint, we know it's okay. But what happens when we buy it in the secondary market and we offer it for sale? And anytime you buy from us, and any quality firm will do this, they'll receive it at a depository where they test the material. Right. So it could be, I'm going to mess up this word. It's been a long time since I was in my chemistry classes, but the nuclear magnetic resonance spectrometer is one way. They do other things. They look at the size. They have different things. Royal Canadian Mint has a tester that you actually put the coin in and it will analyze it for you. So the industry has done these things. There's privy marks on certain bars and coins that can be identified as pure and legitimate. So we go through all that process of testing product to make sure before we buy it back and then offer it for sale, we know it's quality product. You can trust it if you're dealing with a trusted firm.
And of course, if you ever inadvertently did sell a bad bar, the customer could count on you buying it back, making them whole.
Well, there's no question. There's no question.
Rich, I want to thank you for 3 decades of service to hard money and precious metals buyers. I think you're coming into a wonderful decade for your business. But I want to thank you in particular for your ongoing support and participation at the Natural Resources Investment Symposium. Who, Rich, at Asset Strategies International, should our attendees contact if they want to learn more about your company's goods and services?
Rick, that's easy. I'd love to hear from them directly. If you want to reach out to me, just call our 800 number, 800-831-0007. That's 10 better than James Bond, by the way. Or you can just email me, r@assetstrategies.com. I look forward to hearing from every one of you.
I look forward to hosting you live in Boca Raton, July 7 through 11.
Very much looking forward to it. Thank you again, Rick.